Welcome back to Her New Lens. Today, as we close season 1, I want to take you deeper into something that has quietly shaped every episode we've explored together, the new Lens Method. This isn't just a coaching framework, it's the lived journey that has transformed my life. From motherhood to loss to reinvention, love, and the inner work that changed everything. And it's now the method I use to help women see themselves with clarity, compassion, and new possibility. Because the truth is, we don't change by forcing ourselves into a new life. We change when we begin seeing ourselves through a new lens. In this episode, I'll share the personal story behind the method, the science and soul that inform it, and the 4 pillars that create real, lasting transformation. Before we begin, take a moment and ask yourself, what lens have I been seeing myself through? And am I ready for a new one? Let's begin. So before we get into the 4 pillars, I wanted to touch again a little bit about how this method was born. So back when I was 21, and in college, I was really unsure of what I wanted to do, just like many other people that age. I was like, what am I doing? What am I doing next? I'm just completely clueless. And I took an aptitude test in my college, and optometry came out number 1. I thought, okay, that's interesting. I've never even worn glasses. I don't even think I'd ever been to an optometrist. I think my vision exams were done at the doctor's office. So I put it aside, kept on going through my days, and then I took a second test to kind of suggest what I should do. And it came out number 3. So I thought, okay, there's something here I need to take a look at. I decided to get a summer job in an optometry practice. And so I did that, and I realized, you know what, this is something I want to do. And one of the reasons why is because I noticed how quickly you could really help someone. That's something very unique about optometry, is when you give a patient the right lens, all of a sudden they see clearly, and it's like instant. It's amazing. It's an amazing feeling to be able to help people make that shift so quickly. And I thought, okay, this is amazing. So I did that, and I went to optometry school. And then when I began practicing, that's what I learned too, is how fast it can happen. And you see something differently, and everything's different. It's like the common story I've heard people say is someone comes into your office and they want an eye exam, and you help them, you clear their vision, boom, 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 done. They walk out with the glasses, and all of a sudden the tree isn't just a big green blob. There are all these beautiful leaves, all uniquely different, and you can actually see them. And that's the way I feel about this perspective shift that can occur. When you see something differently, it's completely different. And the fact that we have the ability to change the way we see things is the basis of this method. For me, the evolution of learning about this has been long-term. I really had some tough things happen in my life when I was very young, when I was only 2. My father walked out. He was an alcoholic, leaving me with my young mother. It was extremely difficult times for us. And then she remarried. I never really addressed that issue. I wasn't thinking about it. I was dating a lot, but I didn't really understand how much that experience impacted me. And then when I got married, when I was 26, I had a baby when I was 30, and my husband, same thing. He left the marriage when I was 30. So at that point, I've had 2 horrific experiences where I felt like I was abandoned. Something's wrong with me was this story that was in my lens. And that is something that I needed to help fix and change. And through a lot of inner work, through different techniques, through reading, study, personal development, spirituality, you name it, lots of things, I was able to finally see that I was looking out through a lens. My lens was very impacted by these really difficult stories that had happened to me, different experiences. And so everything I was seeing through that lens was reflecting that back. It's like I couldn't even see a date in the same way. I couldn't see marriage in a healthy way. I couldn't see connection and togetherness in a healthy way because that's not what my lens had in it. It had a lot of really sad stories and difficult stories and hurt, painful experiences. And I'm using that to see, and I'm wondering why I keep attracting more and more pain, which is what I found subsequent to the divorce, attracting more of these kind of scenarios. And then finally, all of that work I did came together, and I was able to manifest two big things. One was the practice that I bought in Boston, and two was my husband. And those both came about because I was able to change the lens I was seeing through about what I deserved, what I believed was possible. And when I was able to make that shift and actually see it differently, it was pretty seamless. So I've found through my own experience that when you work the processes I'm going to get into, you're actually capable of changing so fundamentally your lens, which is how you see everything, in a way that radically shapes your life and the experiences you have in your life. So this is so exciting, so powerful. And on top of that, every time I go anywhere with my husband, definitely in the first few years we were married, everyone would ask me, how did you meet your husband? It's like that's the one thing they cared about. So I realized there's a need for this to be shared with other women. And then on top of that, I've realized this method can work in other areas when there's a part of your life that you want to see differently, you want a higher outcome, you want a new path, you want new opportunity. It can work in other areas. I just referenced the love relationship one a lot on the show because that's the one that I'm getting questions about the most. So, but we're going to get into all of that. And I just wanted to say that we are capable of so much more than we think. And I come back to the quote I shared in the very first podcast of this season, which is by Anais Nin. We don't see things as they are, we see them as we are. So this is how deep it is. We see things as we are because we have our own lens. And each one of us has a different lens, and we take that lens everywhere we go. And it influences everything in our lives. So we have the power, thankfully, to change that lens and have a very different way of seeing, moving, being in the world, and then the world reflects back differently to us. So it's super exciting and super empowering. So now let's jump right into pillar one, heart-led transformation. So this is where we get to know our lens. And it's not always easy because when you look at it, sometimes you think, wow, I've been carrying a lot on this lens that is not healthy. And a lot of it has been going way back to the time we're very young, because the lens we wear, it's called imprinting, is really about a lot of experiences that happened to us before we were even 8 years old. Sometimes people say under 6 years old. But all of the beliefs, feelings, emotional tenor, the dominant feelings of our caregivers, teachers, babysitters, all of these people imprint on our little lens that we're born with. It's really really hard because we don't know any different, and we just take it all and it becomes part of our imprint. And that lens can be how we see things because that's what we learned. That's how we learned the world. We learned from those people in our lives. And for many of us, we learned fear. We learned scarcity, we learn anxiety. And some people are really lucky and they learned trust and they learned faith and they learned self-worth. So it just depends on your unique beginnings. And then also it's impacted by experiences after that. So it can layer. Like for me, I had this painful beginning with my father, and then it's just another layer with my ex-husband, adding to it, validating, confirming that my lens is true. My lens is that people abandon me when I need them the most, that I'm not worthy of someone really sticking by me and being with me. These are the things that I had in my lens. And in the heart-led transformation, we take a look at those things. And also part of this is creating space. You can see it and recognize what you're actually seeing through for the first time sometimes. You actually can come into a place of true empowerment when you actually say, wow, I have been wearing this lens. This is painful. I want to change it. I don't want this anymore. I want to see things differently. And you actually can, which is the most amazing news ever. So whatever it is that you're trying to attract into your life, or that you want to have more of, you want to become, whatever area of your life, you can think, what truths about your current lens are trying to get your attention? What is going on that you're seeing or not seeing that is impacting your life? Start to create space so that you can actually see that, so you have a place of empowerment to change it. And remembering that when you do the work, which a lot of this work is beliefs, thoughts, understanding the thinking, where is it coming from, reworking beliefs, we go into that, and that ultimately starts to shape the way we feel. When we start to open up those beliefs, there's space in them, then we can start to feel differently. And this is the heart-led transformation. And really, as you're doing that work of looking at the lens you've been wearing, sometimes there's just this natural flow of compassion that comes through, because you feel badly that you've had to live like that, or you've had to think that way or see that way. It's a process of transformation in this area. The next pillar is empowered vision. And this is a fun pillar. This is when you start to connect with what you really want, because you cannot become who you cannot yet see. So you start to really let your imagination run wild and let your walls down, like really release all expectations that have been placed on you by others or by yourself, and say, what is it that I really, really want? And you let yourself see it. And it's actually a lot of fun to do this. A lot of research shows that visualization is subconscious rewriting, because our subconscious works in images, and then you can start to influence your subconscious, which is really how you manifest new things. And we start thinking about your future self and where you're heading and getting clear about that, what you really want. And sometimes it's surprising. Sometimes people think they want one thing, but when they start doing this part, they think that's actually not what I really want. Then when they figure out what they want, you can go deeper and deeper and really understand it, get excited about it. So this is a very fun pillar. Another quote I want to bring back here is the Wayne Dyer quote. When you change the way you look at things, the things you look at change. This is the heart of empowered vision. And remembering that empowered vision isn't fantasy, it's aligned clarity. You're finally seeing clearly. The truth is that you are worthy of what you desire, period. And if you're not seeing that and you're having blocks, those can be worked through and changed. The next one is authentic integration. That is where we start bringing it together and practicing this new lens in real time. And we talk about how awareness doesn't create change, integration does. It's not enough to know things and to read things and to watch YouTube videos. You have to integrate them and carry them into your life. That is authentic integration. This also influences how you show up in relationships. Because when you show up with higher self-worth, you have different experiences. You won't even go on the date. You won't even attract the person in the first place. A lot changes energetically when you integrate these things that you're learning about yourself. In this area, we also work on boundaries because you're becoming this new version. You have this new lens, this new perspective, this new outlook, and you have to have a boundary because a lot of people in your life may want you to go back to the old one because that's what they're used to and that's what they're comfortable with. So this integration part also brings in boundaries and a topic I love, emotional sovereignty, which is like your emotional baseline is 100% up to you. It is not at the effect of other people ever. You choose how you want to feel at any given moment. It's really a powerful way to move through the world. And worthiness becomes embodied, not theoretical. And also you start to really feel with your new lens, sense this feeling of worthiness, and you, not just for a minute, but you start to embody it, embody the worthiness. And that radically shifts so many aspects of things happening in your life. It's pretty incredible. I can say that examples that I have found is that patterns that I had before shifting this lens just dissolved. And the person who was not at the level would just never even approach me anymore. It's like they don't even see me anymore. Like I'm in a different place, and that I attract different people. So that's really powerful. This is the part where transformation starts to become visible in your life. You start to see changes. You see changes in the people you're attracting, the opportunities you're attracting, the way you're starting to feel about yourself, about things is just, it's elevating. You start to see it, which is really exciting. And the fourth pillar is radiant embodiment, which is really my favorite because this is where you go out into the world and you're fully radiating the embodiment of this new lens in your interactions, in the way you are with others, and the way you are with yourself, the way you treat yourself, the way you care for yourself. This is the piece that it just brings it all together. And this also is where we touch on magnetism. Things are just drawn to you because you are embodying this higher level, this lens, and things are just coming in. So that's radiant embodiment. You're living the new lens daily in every interaction. This is important because, again, the patterns are very old. And with the old lens, however old you are, the patterns that came from the old lens are deep. So to bring this new way into the world, radiant embodiment is going to take accountability because it's so easy to slide back into the old way of seeing things that doesn't work. So there is an accountability piece here where you're accountable to yourself. How are you bringing this new way, this new lens into your life and your interactions? It's really the final click, and it's how you become fully connected to your new lens. So how does this method transform women? Well, you have a deeper self-worth because you see the truth, and the truth is you are worthy, period. And you really see that, and that changes everything. You have clear vision because you don't have blocks stopping you. You're able to recognize your blocks when you see them and have tools to let them go, to release them. You are more grounded because you are secure with the lens that you have, and you have higher standards in love because you are embodying the worthiness in your everyday life, and that shines through and attracts very different experiences. You carry a sense of possibility because you feel like, wow, this is wide open. There's so many possibilities right now. And the ability to choose, not chase. So the key insight here is that when your inner lens changes, your outer world reorganizes around you. It's like that. That's the way it is. It's so quick. So, what do you think? I can tell you that this work of seeing things differently can happen fast, just as fast as putting on glasses and seeing all of a sudden your perspective shifts and you see it and it's just so beautiful and you didn't notice before. That's how quickly this can happen. The shift occurs and you see it differently and you see it clearly. And it's just an amazing thing when it happens. And when it happens, things happen fast in the outer world. Synchronicities occur, situations happen. So what'd you think? The first episode of season 2 will be released on January 7th. Next season, we are going to go deeper into the neuroscience of transformation. I know that sounds kind of boring, but it's fascinating. You'll love it. We're going to get into more emotional and energetic integration. We're going to do some deep dives in love and relationship readiness. We are going to be introducing many more practical tools. We'll have more guest experts whose stories align with the pillars. And there will be some episodes focused on becoming her. The one thing I want to say is I've had 6 women come on as guests, and I cannot tell you how much I got out of those conversations. And I really hope you listen to what they had to say. At the end of each episode, I asked them to share a lens that they think will help listeners. And they all have, of course, their own unique perspective, and they share the lens that they recommend. And I've just found it to be so inspiring what they have to say. They're all incredible. Thank you for being here, not just today, but throughout this entire first season. Thank you for listening, for reflecting, and for exploring new ways of seeing your life. The new Lens Method is the heart of my work and the heart of my own transformation. It's how I return to myself and how I walk alongside other women as they return to themselves too. If you feel called to step into this work more deeply, to shift the lens you're seeing yourself through, I would love to walk with you. You can book a lens shift call or explore coaching through the link in the show notes. Season 2 will take us even deeper into love, worthiness, and the science of becoming. And I cannot wait to continue this journey with you. Until then, keep choosing the lens that honors you most. Keep seeing yourself with compassion, and remember that a new lens is available to you at any time. You just have to try it on. I'll see you in season 2.